Now we will discuss another similar operation to sterilization. This process is called as UHT. It is also named as aseptic processing, and UHT stands for ultra high treatment, ultra high temperature, ultra pasteurization. So these are all different names the UHT is given, but the process involves sterilization of food above 135 degrees C temperature for 1 or 2 seconds, depending upon the food. Most of the milk has to be UHT treated, but there are other food products as well, mostly liquid, such as ice cream, ice cream, egg powder, egg liquids, uh, fruit juices, yogurt, wine, etc. They all normally undergo the process of ultra heat treatment, and it is also possible that the food has to be sterilized first, and then the container is also sterilized, and the filling of the container takes place within the sterilized environment to avoid contamination or recontamination of this food product during the filling operation. This process is also applicable to food which has got discrete particles in them. For example, a liquid having any solid particles such as cottage cheese, baby foods, tomato products, or fruits and vegetable products that have the discrete particles within them can be heated through UHT treatment process. So this process not only destroys or all the living cells within a food product, but it also increases the shelf life more than 6 months. Uh, Another interesting thing in UHT process is that it is not dependent upon the size of the container, as it is likely to happen in all other heat treatments. Normally, for example, if you take an example of a retorting of or canning process, if we take A2 size cans and they have a vegetable soup within them, the time it requires 70 minutes at 121 degrees C to achieve F0 value of 7 minutes, and then it would be followed by 50 minutes of cooling. So this is basically this 70 minutes is equal to F0 value to 7 minutes. So that would mean F0 value is a value where we don't have any viable cells within a food. So that would, as you can see, this is a very long time, 70 minutes. On the other hand, if we have aseptic processing in a scraped surface heat exchanger at 140 degrees C for 5 seconds, it gives us an F0 value of 9 minutes. So that would mean that the product that are UHT treated, they are not much more dependent upon the size of the container. And similarly, if we increase the size of the can up to A10, the processing time can be increased up to 218 minutes, whereas it would not be affected in case of UHT treatment or aseptic packaging. So you see, if this much temperature of 218 minutes is kept for this long time, the product would be literally deteriorated of all the quality and other factors, and it would not be economically possible as well. So the good thing about UHT processing is it is not dependent upon the size of the container during the heating process. Uh, what we wish to have in ideal UHT processes, we want to have a process that can raise the temperature of the product instantly for a very in a very quick time duration, and then we it can achieve sterility, and it can be filled into product can or any of the packaging material soon after achieving this temperature, and then it should be and this process would depend upon the method of heating and the properties of food as well, but ideally we would wish to have this process that the sterility achieved in a very short time, the product is maintained at that temperature, and it should be brought down to lower temperature. The equipment that we use for UHT processing, they should have because the high temperature is involved, so properties are that we look into this UHT processing, they are different. So all the materials, equipments, and processing, it should be able to operate at more than 132 degrees C. and it can be relatively small amount of product should be the exposure of that would take place. We have to maintenance the turbulence within the flow properties within the pipes, within the equipment as well. We have to use pumps that can work at this high temperature. We need to have exchangers, and constant cleaning of these product is also exercised and practiced during the processing. Then there are different methods. There are other methods like direct systems where we inject steam into the milk to quickly achieve the high temperature sterilization temperature of the food. There could be indirect methods such as we earlier discussed, plate heat exchanger, tubular heat exchangers, where we use heating medium in uh, the things that are the plates or tubes which are very much closely linked together. There are other new methods coming in like microwave heating, dielectric, ohmic heating, induction heating, etc. They all are the new methods or development that are taking place to make more economical processes and more effective processes. If we talk about limitation of this process, this is of course costly because higher temperature is involved. The process is complex than other processes such as pasteurization, and you have to have the sterilization of packaging materials takes place in this case, which is an extra step. You have to have pipe work and tanks that can withstand this high temperature. You have to have sterile environment like air around the filling atmosphere, and you need to have higher level of skilled labor that has to be employed for this kind of operations. So all these things make including cost, these all make it a UHT process a little disadvantage, but the benefit is the product has got longer shelf life. So this is to some extent can be overcome by the longer shelf life, and the market the product remains in the market for a longer time. So this was all about UHT process and its benefits and limitations.